On December 14, 2019, I was completely broke. My rent was 3 months overdue. My phone had been shut off. I had $11 left in my bank account, and I gave 7 of them away to a stranger I'd never met. Everyone told me I was stupid. Everyone told me I'd regret it. But 6 months later, that stranger showed up at my door. And what he said, what he handed me, completely changed the course of my life, forever. Stick with me, because the ending of this story is something you will never see coming. My name is Marcus. I was 27 years old and living in a studio apartment in Cleveland, Ohio. And honestly, I was living a life I wouldn't wish on anyone. 6 months before that December night, I'd lost my job at a warehouse after the company downsized. No warning, no severance.
Severance means money a company pays you when they let you go from a job. Example, he received no severance after being laid off.
Just a handshake and a cardboard box for my things. I'd applied to over 200 jobs, got callbacks from 3, hired by none. My girlfriend, Shayna, had left in October. She said she loved me, but she couldn't build a future on promises and empty cupboards. Her words, they echoed in my head every single night. My mother kept calling from Detroit, asking if I was eating. I'd lie, I'd say, "Yeah, Ma, I had chicken today." Truth is, I was skipping meals, sometimes 2 days in a row. So by December 14th, I had exactly $11.03 to my name. No family nearby, no friends who could help. Just me, a cold apartment, and a decision I was about to make that everyone in my life would call reckless. That night, I walked to the gas station on Pearl Road. I was going to buy a loaf of bread, the 99-cent kind, and maybe some peanut butter. That was going to be my food for the next 3 days, until I figured something out. But when I got to the entrance, I saw him. An older man, sitting on an overturned milk crate. His jacket was thin, way too thin for a Cleveland December. His hands were shaking. Not from fear, from cold. Real, bone-deep, cold. His sign read, "Lost everything in a fire. Anything helps. God bless." Now I want to be honest with you. My first instinct, I walked right past him. I didn't even look. I couldn't afford to care. I was drowning in my own problems. But then, something happened. I was standing inside, holding that loaf of bread, staring at the peanut butter, and I heard his cough through the glass door. It was deep, wet, the kind of cough that tells you someone hasn't been warm in days. And I put the peanut butter back. I bought the bread, 99 cents. Then I bought a large coffee, $1.50, and a pack of hand warmers, 3 for total, $6.48. Plus tax, I was left with just over $4 to survive on. And I didn't even care. I walked outside and handed him the bag. He looked up at me. His eyes were red. Tired, but they were kind. I'll never forget that. Even in his pain, he had kind eyes. He said, "Son, you didn't have to do that." I said, "Neither did life. But here we are." He laughed. A small, broken laugh. Then he said something strange. He said, "I'm going to remember your face." The weeks after that night were the hardest of my entire life. I ran out of food 2 days later. I went to a food bank for the first time. I remember standing in that line, trying to hold back tears. Not because I was sad, but because I was ashamed.
Ashamed, feeling embarrassed or guilty about something. Example, he felt ashamed to ask for help.
January came. Still, no job. I started doing odd jobs, shoveling snow, cleaning out garages, just to keep the lights on. Some weeks, I made $40. Some weeks, I made nothing. By March, I was getting eviction notices. Big, bright orange papers taped to my door like a flag of failure for all my neighbors to see. I called my mother one night, and for the first time in my life, I broke down completely. I told her everything: the job, Shayna, the money, the stranger. And you know what she said? She said, "Baby, God saw what you did at that gas station. It's coming back to you. Just hold on." I wanted to believe her. But holding on is hard when your hands are empty. I opened the door, and I froze. It was him, the man from the gas station. But he looked different, healthy, clean, strong, like a completely different person. He smiled and said, "I told you I'd remember your face." His name was Harold. Harold Ashford. And here's the part that shook me to my core. Harold wasn't homeless. Well, he had been for about 3 weeks. Before that fire destroyed his apartment, Harold had been a retired contractor who owned a small but successful construction company. The fire wiped out his apartment, his documents, everything. Insurance was delayed. He fell through the cracks fast.
Fell through the cracks to be missed or forgotten by the system meant to help. Example, many people in need fall through the cracks.
But Harold had a brother in Virginia. After a few weeks on the street, his brother found him, took him in, helped him rebuild. By June, Harold was back on his feet. His insurance had paid out. He'd restarted his business, a renovation company that had just landed 3 commercial contracts. And he'd spent 2 months trying to find me. He told me he'd gone back to that gas station, talked to the clerk, described me. The clerk remembered me because I used to come in all the time, pointed Harold to my neighborhood. Harold went door to door, until he found me. He said, "That night, you had nothing, and you gave me something anyway. Nobody does that. I need people like you." Then the woman behind him stepped forward. She introduced herself as Harold's business manager. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a job offer: full-time project coordinator for Harold's construction company. Salary, $48,000 a year. Health insurance, paid training. Start date immediately. I read it 3 times. I looked at Harold. I looked at the letter. And then, I'm not going to lie to you, I cried. Right there in the doorway. I cried like a child. Harold put his hand on my shoulder and said, "You gave me coffee and warmth on the coldest night of my life. This is just me returning the favor." I took the job, obviously. Within a year, I had my own apartment, a real one, with heat that worked and a full refrigerator. I'd paid off my debts. I'd reconnected with my mother. She flew out to visit me that Christmas, the first Christmas in 4 years we spent together. And every single Saturday morning, I volunteer at the same food bank that fed me when I had nothing. Harold and I aren't just employer and employee anymore. He's become like a second father to me. We have dinner together every Sunday. And here's the lesson, the real lesson I carry with me every single day. Kindness is never wasted. Even when it costs you something. Especially when it costs you something. That $7 didn't just buy coffee and hand warmers. It planted a seed. And that seed grew into something I could never have planned, predicted, or even imagined. You never know who you're helping. You never know where that person will be in 6 months. And you never know how the smallest act, a coffee, a kind word, a moment of seeing someone when the world has made them invisible, can come back and save your own life. If this story moved you, even a little, do me a favor, drop the word kindness in the comments right now. I want to see how many of you believe that what you give always comes back to you. And if you've ever helped a stranger, or if a stranger ever helped you, tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I share stories like this every single week. Real stories, powerful stories, stories that remind us what it means to be human. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. You never know, they might be the one going through their coldest December. I'll see you in the next one.